Now the next method is preparation from nitrides, metal nitrides. The next method is, so here what you are supposed to do is that you will be taking the burning magnesium, calcium or aluminium metal. We'll take first. Alright, I have given you one reaction there at the top. You can see magnesium, that is burning magnesium I can take, burning calcium I can take, burning aluminium I can take. Alright, I have given you another reaction also with aluminium. So when it reacts with nitrogen, what you have to do is that you have to introduce a burning magnesium or aluminium or calcium into a gas jar containing nitrogen. You have to introduce the burning metals into a gas jar containing nitrogen. What you will find, respective nitrides is produced. Like magnesium gives magnesium nitride Mg3N2, aluminium will give ALN, aluminium nitride, calcium will give Ca3N2, calcium nitride. You get respective nitrides. First of all, we prepare nitride in this way. We introduce burning magnesium, calcium, aluminium in this way into a gas jar containing nitrogen. We get the respective nitrides is produced. Now, what we will do is that you will take this nitrides. You will take this nitride. You can see the figure here. You will take this nitride in a round bottom flask. You have taken the nitride. The magnesium nitride is being shown here, and you will drop what you can say hot water drop by drop by the help of thistle funnel. You will drop it, hot water drop by drop over the by the help of thistle funnel over the magnesium nitride or calcium or aluminium nitride. Here in the figure, magnesium nitride is being shown here to you. So what you find, ammonia gas is collected. Mg3N2 when reacts with water, you can see the reaction Mg3N2 plus hot water, it will give you what, magnesium hydroxide plus ammonia gas is produced. Okay, 6H2O gives MgOH whole twice plus ammonia. You can take calcium nitride also, you can take aluminium nitride also. ALN will react with water to give you ALOH whole thrice plus ammonia gas is being produced. Got it? In this way. So any nitride you take, calcium or magnesium or aluminium, you take it in the round bottom flask as you can see here, and you trickle hot water drop by drop over the this nitride with the help of thistle funnel. Ammonia gas which is being collected, same thing, it is being passed to the drying agent calcium oxide, and it is being collected by the downward displacement of air. But the same way as we have seen it in the previous experiment. But one thing remember it, that this method is seldom used, means hardly we use it, this method. Why? Because first of all, these nitrides are highly expensive in nature. They are highly expensive. These nitrides, metal nitrides, what it, they are highly expensive, first of all. Second thing is that this this particular one, this reaction when it is being done, so it may cause an explosion. Alright, it may cause an explosion, this particular reaction when it is being done. So why? Because it is unstable. This magnesium nitride or nitrides which is being formed, it is unstable in nature, and it may undergo an explosive reactions. Alright, and moreover, as I said you, they are highly expensive. So hence it is seldom used, this method, to prepare ammonia gas. Generally we use to prepare ammonia gas by the help of the previous experiment, that is calcium hydroxide along with ammonium chloride, that is sal ammoniac, and we prepare ammonia. This method hardly it is used, but as it is a method, so we are studying this particular one, because as I said you, that it is not being done. Clear? And moreover, another reason is that we are getting an insoluble metal hydroxide which is precipitated out. Alright, at the bottom of the flask you will see an insoluble metal hydroxide is remaining. Got it? So that may also interfere with the reactions, we can say that. Clear? So for that particular purpose, this method is not used, because the yield of ammonia is also not so high. It is low, it is expensive, it forms a precipitate which is being left at the bottom of the flask, which may interfere with the reactions. Got it? So hence this method is very hardly it is used to prepare ammonia gas. Fine. Now next, after that we'll come to the manufacture of ammonia. Very important, Haber's process. Now see children, you are having in class 10 three process. Haber's process, preparation of ammonia, manufacture of ammonia. We are having Ostwald process, that is manufacture of nitric acid. We are having contact process, manufacture of sulfuric acid. Out of these three processes, one will definitely come in your board exams. Definitely one is going to come. You can see the previous question paper and you can find it out. Maybe more than one also it is possible, but one will definitely come. So hence these process, listen to it very carefully, understand it very carefully, and also practice it, the equations. Now what is the Haber's process? Now Haber, actually the name of the scientist who prepared this ammonia gas, now what he did, so I have shown you that is diagram here, rather sketch I have shown you here, got it, that is by which ammonia is being manufactured I have shown you. I will show you now the figure, you can see that. So this is the Haber's process. So what we do is that we take hydrogen and nitrogen in the ratio of 1:3, that is hydrogen 3 parts and nitrogen 1 volume, we take it, got it, and we first pass it through a compressor. But remember that nitrogen and hydrogen we are taking, it should be absolutely pure. So the source of hydrogen is your Bosch process. You have read it in class 9. That is the Bosch process by which you prepare hydrogen. The source of hydrogen is Bosch process, and the source of nitrogen is air. What we do is that we go for the liquefaction of the air. Alright, when we liquefy the air and we go for fractional distillation, after liquefying the air, we'll go for fractional distillation, then nitrogen and oxygen is being collected separately. The liquid nitrogen we take it, and that is a source of what you can say nitrogen. So basically the source of nitrogen is air, but remember that the hydrogen and nitrogen which you are taking, it should be in the purest state. Why? Otherwise ammonia will be impure, and the impurities also will poison the catalyst. Impurity also will poison the catalyst. Generally the impurities which are being present here with hydrogen and nitrogen, got it, is carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, H2S. You know that these are the impurities which are present in air. What I said you, that the source of nitrogen is air. We are liquefying the air, got it, and we are going for fractional distillation of the air. When we go for fractional distillation of the air, we collect, that is nothing but nitrogen from it, and oxygen is being remaining behind, we can say that. Clear? So in this way what we must see is that the air should be pure, because otherwise air will have these impurities like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, H2S. What it will do? It will poison the catalyst. Catalyst, what it does basically here, you will see here we will be using the catalyst, that is iron. Alright, so what it will do? It will increase the rate of reaction. It will alter the rate of the reaction. But if the catalyst is being poisoned, then the rate of reaction is being retarded. Instead of being accelerated, it will get retarded. Understood what I said? Here if the poisonating substance are there, what it will do? It will poison the catalyst. Now when it will poison the catalyst, how the catalyst is going to behave? What is the use of a catalyst here? Catalyst, it increases the rate of the reaction here. But here the catalyst, if the poisonating substance is there, and if the catalyst will get poisoned, then instead of accelerating the rate of the reaction, it will deaccelerate. It is going to retard the rate of the reaction. For that particular reason, nitrogen and hydrogen should be pure. Alright, so we are passing through the compression pump. We are passing it. So compression pump, you can see the pressure is maintained. You can see it, I have written it here, 200 to 900 atmospheric pressure. So in the that is diagram, you can see the sketch which I have given to you. There you can see nitrogen and hydrogen, that is 1:3 by ratio I have taken, and I am showing you A here. A stands for what? Compression pump, where the pressure is maintained at 200 to 900 at atm pressure, atmospheric pressure, a very high pressure we are maintaining here. Got it? Clear? So here what happens is that nitrogen and hydrogen, they come closer to each other. They come closer to each other. By the help of compression pump, they come closer to each other. Now after that, when it comes closer to each other, what we do is that we pass it through, that is B. B is what? B is nothing but an electrically heated chamber. There the temperature is maintained electrically to 450 to 500 degrees centigrade. It is being maintained. The temperature is maintained there. 450 to 500 degrees centigrade temperature is maintained. B stands for electrically heated catalytic chamber. You can see it here. This is your electrically heated catalytic chamber. After the gas is being compressed, both the gases, we are passing through this catalytic chamber, which is electrically heated and maintain temperature of 450 to 500 degrees centigrade. Now the question comes here, if we don't do it, then what will happen? The reaction will not carry out in the forward direction. This is the optimum temperature and this is the optimum pressure you have to give. Suppose if the pressure is more than this, 200 to 900. If you say, sir, if the optimum pressure is 200 to 900, I'll give more pressure. I'll get more ammonia. No. When I said optimum, optimum means this is the actual pressure. Not less than this, not more than this, I want it. Not less than this, not more than this, I want. So if I take more pressure, then the plant will burst open. Where you are preparing ammonia gas, now this plant, you can see the diagram here, the plant, this plant is going to burst open. Alright? And if you take the pressure less than that, then the reaction will not be carried out forward. So for that particular reason, what we do is that we maintain the temperature 450 to 500 centigrade and the pressure as 200 to 900 atm pressure. Now on doing so, what happened is that a large amount of heat is being liberated. As you can see is there in this reaction. That is N2 plus 3H2 in presence of Fe as a catalyst. MO means what? MO is molybdenum. That is a promoter. Promoter, what it does? It enhances the work of the catalyst. It enhances the work of the catalyst. Means it makes the reaction still faster. Now one more thing I'll add it here. Children, you write it down. If Fe as a catalyst and MO as a promoter is not present, then what you should do is that the alternate is you can take Fe2O3, got it, as a catalyst containing 1% potassium oxide K2O and 3% aluminium oxide Al2O3 as a promoter. Again I repeat, the alternate catalyst is Fe2O3 containing 1% K2O and 3% Al2O3 as a promoter. You can take it. Got it? That's the alternate. Otherwise you generally take Fe as a catalyst and MO as a promoter. Promoter means which enhances the work of the catalyst. Means catalyst increases the rate of the reaction. Promoter will still increase further. Alright, that is the work of the promoter. And you can see plus delta is given. Delta means what? Heat is liberated. That means the reaction is exothermic in nature. This reaction is. You can see is there 2NH3 plus delta. Delta means what? That is heat is being liberated there. Got it? The triangle sign is the delta sign. Heat is liberated. That means the reaction is exothermic. So hence, if you will say that if I take the temperature more than this, what will happen? The reaction in the forward direction is exothermic. Always remember that. Here it is in the forward direction is exothermic. If a reaction in the forward direction is exothermic, it is endothermic in the backward direction. Got it? This was said by Lee Chartlius, another scientist. That if any reaction in the forward direction is liberating the heat, it is exothermic. In the backward direction, it is going to absorb the heat. It will be endothermic. So, you are maintaining a temperature of 450 to 500 centigrade. On giving this temperature, only the heat is liberated. So, if you give more temperature, do you think that more heat will be liberated? No. The heat is not required in the forward direction because already the heat is liberated. Apply the common sense. Already the heat is liberated on providing this particular temperature. If you increase the temperature, then more heat will not be liberated. That heat will be required in the backward direction. The reaction will favor in the backward direction. That is, ammonia will decompose to give you nitrogen and hydrogen. Then okay, you will say, okay fine, I will not increase the heat. I will decrease the heat. If you decrease the temperature, the reaction is not going to take place. Because I said you, this is optimum temperature. This is a minimum temperature you have to give. If more temperature, reaction will favor in backward direction. If less temperature, the reaction will not be carried out in the forward direction. So the minimum temperature or the optimum temperature is 450 to 500 centigrade temperature. And the pressure is 200 to 900 atm pressure. Now one more thing I will say you, that this chamber, this catalytic chamber, you can see it is electrically heated only once. Why? Because whatever the heat is being liberated during the course of the reaction, that only carries the reaction forward. Because it is an exothermic reaction, that only carries the reaction forward. So hence, for that particular purpose, what you find is that once the heat is liberated, or once the reaction is carried out, further heating is not required because that only carried the heat, that only carried the reaction forward. That only carries the reaction forward, we can say that. Okay, so after that you can see the gas is passed through a heat exchanger. Heat exchanger means what? That is nothing but we are having some cooling fins because a lot of heat is liberated. So you have to cool down the gas. So hence we are passing through heat exchange, that is a cooling fins. Then we are passing through, that is a tower where the gas is being cooled, and you can see the tower consists of nothing but spiral pipes. Got it? When the gas enters, the ammonia gas, it enters the spiral pipe, and the cooling that is the gas tower is there. Then what happens is that under low temperature and under high pressure, because that spiral pipe increases the pressure because the gas is going to strike. The gas molecule is going to strike one another. Understood? So under low temperature and high pressure, what happens is the gas gets liquefied and the liquid ammonia gets collected at the bottom. Now whatever the nitrogen and hydrogen which is not being converted into ammonia, you can see that uncombined nitrogen and hydrogen, again it is being passed through the catalytic chamber, again it is being converted into ammonia, again it is being passed through the cooling tower, got it, through the spiral pipe where the temperature is maintained at very low temperature below 0 degrees centigrade, got it, and the high pressure is maintained so that the gas, when it will enter there under low temperature and high pressure, what happens, the gas is going to get liquefied. Because for the liquefaction these two conditions are required. You have read in lower classes, the temperature should be low, as low as possible, and the pressure should be high, got it, then only the gas is going to get liquefied. Then liquid ammonia is collected at the bottom, you can say that. Clear? In this way the cycle is being repeated till all nitrogen and hydrogen is being converted into ammonia. The cycle is being repeated. So here many things you have to remember it, that the gas should be pure and the ratios of the gas taken is 1:3 by volume. Got it? Total volume of the gas is on the reactant side is 4 and the total volume of the product side is 2. You can see that. So the reaction is taking place with the decrease in volume. So if any reaction is taking place with the decrease in volume, so the pressure should be more, increase in pressure. So hence we prefer 200 to 900 atm pressure. Understood? Again I repeat, the reaction is taking place the decrease in volume. On the reactant side 4 moles is there or 4 volume is there, and the product side 2 volume is there, 2 volume of ammonia is being produced. So the reaction is taking place a decrease in volume. Any reaction which takes place a decrease in volume, the pressure should be more, then the reaction will favor in forward direction. Why? Because how do we come to know? Pressure is inversely proportional to volume. If volume is less, pressure should be high. Boyle's law, you have studied. Alright, and the reaction is exothermic. For that purpose once only heating is required in the catalytic chamber. After that heating is not required, because that heat only carries the reaction forward. The catalyst is iron as a catalyst, molybdenum as a promoter. If the catalyst is not available, this one, then Fe2O3 acts as a catalyst as an alternate one. K2O and Al2O3 1% and 3% respectively acts as a promoter. Got it? The uncombined that is nitrogen and hydrogen, again it is being passed through the catalytic chamber. Got it? Or we can pass it through compressor again to the catalytic chamber until all the nitrogen and hydrogen is converted into ammonia. The process is being continued, we can say that. So this is how we prepare what you can say ammonia or manufacture ammonia by Haber's process, we can say that. Got it? And ammonia gas, when it is being stored, it is being stored in the liquid state. It is not being stored in the gaseous state in container. Why? Because in the gaseous state there may be a chance that the leakage can take place. If any leakage is taking place, then the gas will escape. But if it is stored in the liquid state, the liquid will not escape through the leakage. Got it? Through that particular hole. So hence it is what you can say, that's ammonia when it is being what you can say transferred from one place to another place or transported from one place to another place, it is being liquefied first and then only it is being transported from one place to another place. I hope so you have understood. Thank you very much.